when it starts recording, I'll get all conscious and I'm like, okay, whatever I say, my editor is gonna edit that and make me look like a fool. That is also there. How the hell do we start this thing? So this is a controversial question which I'm gonna ask you. Good morning, guys. Today we have with us Zachariah, who's coming to us all the way from Canada. And we are lucky and we are extremely happy to have him on the screen. Welcome, Alex, to another episode of Aam Aadmi Podcast.
Thank you, Kevin. Happy to be here.
So we thought that today we will discuss a topic that needs a lot of discussion, a lot of education among the people now, a lot of stress, because people need to know. So today I thought we will discuss about the importance of acceptance and tolerance of LGBT community among us. Before we go into the technicalities of that, I thought normally or among our people, there will be a few questions that they would have in their mind, which they might not ask, but that is there in their mind. So I thought I will be a representative of those Aam Aadmi people and I'll ask you a few questions. And I hope if you're comfortable enough, you can answer those questions.
Oh, for sure.
So the first and foremost thing that any person would think about is that when did you know about this? And how did you know about this?
So I see it as like a two-part question. So when did I know about it? I knew it from the beginning when I was born that I was gay. I was attracted to same sex, more than opposite sex. And even though my attraction for opposite sex was nothing, it's not the same as, it's more like what you call a fandom or appreciation of their beauty or whatever. But it's different from my attraction towards the same sex. So I knew it from the beginning. And how did I know? I don't know. I just knew it. It's the same way. Like if you or anybody, any other people who identify themselves as straight, I could ask them the same. It's the same way they know that they are straight. I know I'm straight. I'm gay.
Because another question that everyone in India asks is that how do they know they are gay? When you're saying that you accepted that you are gay, I am assuming that you've been with a girl and you did not like the experience. Is that right?
It's like my experiences with other people were not the same as it would have been with a man. And I knew it. And I didn't put myself through that, and I didn't even put the other person through that either. Like, I don't want to make the other person's experience as bad as I knew how it would be mine would be. When did I know? I answer, like, I knew it from the beginning. I think what most people struggle with, especially coming from the Indian background, is when they struggle to accept it. So you live in a lot of denials just because that's what the society or the community that you live in are used to do or teach you to do. It's not the norm, or they tell you it's not normal. It's not how it should be. So they don't even have a discussion. They just believe it and make you believe like that this is how it should be. So for me, there came a point in my life where I had to take a stand and go through that struggle, accept myself, because my quality of life and everything wasn't that good, even when I was in Canada. It did help me a bit, but again, most of the work, I had to do it by myself. There's a lot of psychological work that I have to do. There's a lot of things that I have to deal with and come to terms with the true self that I am. It's more than a naive question of how did you accept it, or how do you know whether you are gay if you haven't been with a girl. It's the same way that I would ask, like, we joke around with my friends, and it's not, even though it's like a joking question, a funny question or an answer, it's a serious one too. Like, how does a straight person know that they are straight until they have tried with somebody of their same sex?
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah, so it's the same way.
So I understand then there are a few steps involved, right? So you're saying you knew about it.
Mhm.
And yeah, it makes sense when you say that, like how a straight person knows he's straight, another person would know that he's gay, right? That makes sense. Now the second part is you accepting the fact that you're gay,
Mhm.
right? And then the
Yeah.
third part is you letting your people know, or you coming out and letting people know that you're gay, and them accepting it. So how was it
Mhm.
from the second stage to the third stage? I understand it would have been a very hard phase of your life. If I may ask, who did you first come out to? Who did you tell first?
So the first person who I came out to was my girlfriend at that time, and we had this conversation, and I thought she should be the first person to know.
Correct. Yes.
And I wanted to be honest to her with her, and we had this conversation. And she was very supportive. She was very supportive. She accepted it, and even though it was not a cakewalk, it's both of us. We had to educate ourselves, and we had to accept and respect each other. So there was acceptance and respect that came together. So I was very fortunate with that. And after that, even though there was like with my, if when I moved, the next important part of me was my family. So I decided to write a letter and send it to my parents. And it was a difficult time. So coming out, everybody has different experiences. My experience with the act of coming out. And it's funny that we are having this discussion because this week was National Coming Out Day,
Yeah.
International Coming Out Day. So it's kind of funny that we are going through the story. To me, coming out was terrifying, scary, but at the same time, the most fulfilling thing that I've ever done. You are hiding yourself, who you are, and everything from the people that matters to you the most, people who you love and respect the most, your friends, your family, your parents, and you're just taking off that mask and you're coming out to them. It requires a lot of courage and believe believe in yourself. Like you have to the belief in yourself. So for me, I wrote a letter to my parents. I think it was a 6 or 8 page letter, like a handwritten letter.
So
And
you
I
were
did
in at what phase of your life? You were in your college then, or you started working?
no, actually, I wasn't. I finished my undergrad in Canada, and I was doing my master's in Canada.
Okay.
And I actually did it when I was in France. I was traveling through France, and on one of like for a month long vacation. So I just decided to go to France, and that's when I decided to write a letter. So I didn't even want to send an email. You know, to be honest, I thought I wanted to come out, but the fear in me was hoping the mail will be lost in the mail because I wanted to send it the old-fashioned snail mail thing. So I handwritten mail and I posted with the cheapest stamp. So it's the slowest mail that you can get in France and send it to India. So then a week later, I came back to Canada. So it was the last day. I'm taking my flight, and at the airport, I dropped the plane and the letter, and I came to Canada. So a week later, I'm calling my parents, and I asked them, "Oh, did you get any letter, please, from me?" And they're like, "No, we didn't get anything." 2 weeks, nothing. 2.5 weeks later, I asked, "Oh, did you get a letter?" "Oh yeah, we got a letter," and there was no reaction. So I was like, "Oh, what? Everything is okay?" But then a day later, in the middle of the night, my time, I get this phone call, and my mother was bawling. She was crying. She was like, "What's going on?" Blah, blah, blah. So they actually read the letter a day later and they understood it and they called me. I'm very fortunate to have, and I'm very grateful to my parents. And I understand it was difficult for them, as much as it was as difficult for me. So we both had to go through that phase of life where we were trying to understand something that we the both parties wasn't know about. I didn't know how my parents would feel, and my parents didn't know what it is. The way the community that they were brought up, the way that they were brought up, the religious beliefs that they were brought up, church. all those things contributed to that factor. It took them a couple of months, and but I still remember uh, one thing that my mom told me was that she asked me, "Is it something that we did? Like, what did we do wrong? Like, is it the way that we brought you up? What is it?" And I said, "There's nothing wrong with you. Like, there's nothing wrong with what you did. Neither there's anything wrong with me. This is who I am." And then at the end, the last thing my mom told me before she hung up on the phone after like 2 hours of crying and conversing and everything was that no matter what, you are my son and I love you, and that I want you to remember that all the time. Like, we may not agree on everything, we may not accept things, but at the end of the day, you are my only son and I love you. And I don't think it was nothing to do with being a son, or she would have done the same to my sister. And both my parents would have done the same to my sister and supported her through that too in their own way. So I was fortunate. It was not an easy thing to do for me, as well as it wasn't an easy thing for my parents to do it either. From what I understand, for them, there's a lot of concern, but the most important concern was what other people might say.
That's the main issue that we have back in India,
Yes.
specifically Kerala. I don't think just Kerala. Everywhere the same issue is there. What will others think about us? What will others say? That's what governs most of their life, right? And that's sad. That's truly sad. Because they do that, what happens is that they limit themselves to a lot of things. They do not experiment. They do not try new things.
Mhm.
They give so much importance to the way people others think that they lose out on many things and they don't even know that.
Yeah, and it's not just about your sexuality or anything. It's even with your career choices. Like, okay, like when we grew up, it was, oh, you have to become an
Yeah.
engineer, a doctor, or a
So,
accountant or something. The list stops at the one or two, three or four things. But people don't realize there's so much more out there. Uh, I think we should do what we love doing so that we can be the best in what we are doing and be the just enjoy. Like, going to work should not be like a chore. It should be something that you should look forward to.
correct, exactly.
So, and that's what I've done with my life, even like my career choice, whether it is to do with my career choice. Like, I went to school for something else totally different, and career wise what I'm doing is also nothing to do with that. And I'm happy with whatever it is.
So that's what I wanted to ask you about that exactly. So once you
Yeah.
got that sense of freedom, like how once you came outside and then you could be yourself and you don't have to wear a mask after that, did that give you a sense of freedom to choose how do you want to live? Because as you rightly mentioned right now, what you studied is not what you're doing now. You went after your passion after that. Like it's like someone was tying you and then there was that invisible knot that is not allowing you to run. And all of a sudden you got that option to run and then you took it. Coming out, did it help you in living a better life? A life where you can make your own choices.
I was making my own choices even before that, but coming out did. It was a feeling of, like, a weight that you've been carrying for 20 years was just lifted away from me, and that is huge, and that is emotionally, psychologically, and even physically. It's real. So that was the big thing for me, and the effect of it is I was much more happier. I was much more confident in what I was doing, what I want to do, and being out there. So until then, I was living, like, of course, I was living, like, a part of me was still lying. Like, in Canada, nobody cares. But every time I'm going to India, or I'm speaking to somebody in India, or even to my parents, I felt like I'm hiding a part of me that I would love to share with them, but I wasn't ready. But as soon as I was able to do that, now I can talk to them about my life, the part of life that I was hiding for the past 20 years. I can discuss with them, discuss about boyfriends, discuss about other things, the struggle that we go through our relationships. So that was a big thing. So that did help me a lot. I did save a lot of money going through, instead of going to a psychotherapist, like a psychologist, I did save a lot of money just doing that, coming
Correct.
out and being true to myself.
I just wanted to know about this. I understand you got you went to study abroad, and that was not a choice which you made on your own. You got a grant and then you went abroad, right? If I'm not wrong.
It was a choice that I made myself. I really wanted to do that
Okay.
just because I wanted to explore, and it was nothing to do with me being gay or whatever. At that time, at that point in my life, for me, I was just thinking about education, and I wanted to explore and have a different experience.
Coming outside India, seeing the world, understanding that this is normal, did that help you to make the decision of coming out?
Definitely. So until then, probably it was when I was probably 16 or 17, when I was in India. That's when I started to educate myself about LGBTQ community, LGBT rights, of what is going on around the world, as well as in India. And also, I met some other people like me in India. All of us were facing the same problems at home, in the communities that we lived in school, everything. So that's when I realized it is normal. Until then, I was in this constant struggle of, okay, what is wrong with me? Like in Canada, that would never happen. I'm not saying, probably the 1 or 2% in the community, because of their religious beliefs and where how they are brought up, they might think that. Still there, it's still there. I'm not saying everything is beautiful, colorful rainbow here either, but everybody knows, everybody accepts who they are, who their kids are, even when they are 2-year old, 5-year old. If they come and say that, mom or dad, I think I'm gay, or I'm attracted to Danielle or David, they will be like, oh, that's cool. We'll see, we will explore. And there's LGBTQ alliances in school, even in like grade 2, grade 3, you have alliances. People who you can coming out to my friends, coming out to people who I love, even though they probably didn't accept me. The most important thing was I accepted myself. And it gave me the courage, it gave me the confidence to face the world, bridge the gap between people. And people could, rather than seeing me as a gay personality or like a person, like my sexual life, they to see my academics, my acumen, my talents, and my ability to lead them. And I think that is what is more important. And that's also something that, as a community, any community, whether it is in India or anywhere else, that we should focus on. A gay person, an LGBTQ person, is same as anybody else.
Correct.
There is nothing wrong. It's the same. Like everybody has the same talents. Everybody has the same ability to do things. They are not second-class citizens. There is nothing wrong with them. It is not a mental illness.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sexual orientation has nothing to do with how we are or what we are.
No.
It's just a
We
part
all
of life,
human
and
being,
everyone
and
should
that's
accept
what.
that.
Yes. Like if you go to the core, we are human beings, and
Correct.
sometimes we forget that, and that's why we treat other people with so much hate and cruelty and everything. Like, why do we even worry about your color of the skin, like racism issues, sexism issues, like your gender or whatever? No, forget all about it. At the end of the day, we are just human beings having, like, spending, what is it, like 70 years, 80 years on this planet on an average, and we just move on. So in that 80 years, would you rather spend time hating other people or judging other people of what they do on their own private personal time? Those people, like, they are having a good time. You are the one who's probably thinking about them, judging them, and creating that hatred within you, and you're having a bad time. So I'm like, okay, well, it's bad on you.
And the funny part is that all those people who have this homophobia, I'm pretty sure I've read an article saying that those people are actually scared that they might also be a gay person or a queer or from the LGBT community, and they don't
I'm
want to
not
accept
making
that.
a Yeah, I'm not making a generalized statement here, but I can speak from my own experience. The biggest homophobic people that I've met are gays themselves.
But they've not come
And
out yet. They're
no,
hiding it.
and it's not about coming out, it's about accepting.
Correct.
Again, that's the biggest thing, that's the biggest challenge. Accepting, and it's not about like before you be true to other people, you have to be true to yourself.
Correct. Makes sense.
So that is the biggest struggle, and the intimidation or the aggressiveness that you see from a homophobic person is because of this internalized anger. So they had to let it out through some way. So they just focus on this thing because it's something that they struggle with. And that is why we need to have more education, more support group, the importance of having the conversation like we are having now, so that everybody should understand that there's nothing wrong with it.
You went outside India, you saw it was normal. So it was it's easier for you to take the first step as accepting it and then coming outside, right?
Mhm.
How many billions of people would be there in India who still are scared to come outside and speak about it?
Definitely, there is, like you said, like there's millions of people who are still scared, but at the same time, there are other millions of people who have already come out and are leading the path in India. I've had so many stories of people and my friends who are in various parts of India, in Kerala, in Tamil Nadu, in South India, in North, everywhere, in all parts of India, where they have come out and they are leading the path so that there is a conversation that will start. Every country goes through these things, and even in the States, still there is discrimination, there is this uh, talk about this thing, and you consider it as a more like a developed country with high education, high GDI, etc. But still, gay rights is always under question there. Even last week, there was a Supreme Court opinion that was given, which could go back to canceling the gay marriage, equal marriage rights that they had,
Mhm.
that they have in US, that they might even think about canceling it. So, like, it is a constant struggle. It's like you have to. I think it's also the fact that there's always a constant scrutiny of what I do or how I carry myself as a LGBTQ person. They think that there's all kinds of different people. Some people think, oh, this person is too effeminate, or this woman is what we call a butch. She is a tomboy. She is a lesbian. So there's a lot of judgment. There's a lot of things of how people see you rather than what you can do, what your talent is. So the struggle is real. It's always going on, whether it is in India, whether it is in Canada, whether it is in the States, no matter where.
In this last 27 years of your life or 29 years of your life, was there a part of your life where you were bullied or you have bad memories because your sexual orientation was different, be that in school, college, or workplace? Did something like that happen? Is that normal?
Well, I was bullied in school in different ways. Like there's name calling, being bullied. It has happened to me, like the telltale story of any gay kid in India or in any country. It has happened to me. At the same time, people who took advantage of me, uh, being whether it is like as a sexual assault or things like that. At that time, I didn't know it, and I thought this is like I didn't know what to do. But it took me so many years, like probably when I was 15 or 16 is when I realized that what what these people are doing to me is not right, and I have to speak up for myself, and it had to stop. So there's a lot of self-victimization, there's a lot of guilt, there's a lot of shame that was associated with it during that time, not just because of the bullying. It did cost a lot, but at the same time, how other people were treating me, how other people were taking advantage of my insecurities. So yeah, I did face all those problems.
So does it gradually
And
decrease from school to college to workplace? Because ideally people get more mature when they grow up and they have a better perception of what life is towards college and towards not towards college, maybe towards work. Right? Did it help?
yeah, um, I think it did, because I did I after my 12th grade, I did 2 years of university in India, and even then, even though the bullying did reduce there, I had a group of friends who were very supportive, who I'm still in touch with and who are part of my life. They are like a family to me. So even though I never came at that time, I never came out to them like, hey, I'm gay. Like I never told them. I'm pretty sure they knew it even then. And even when I came out to them, they were like, when I call them, hey, I got to tell you something. I'm gay. And they're like, oh, okay. So what did you have for dinner? For them, that's the kind of conversation that we had.
Yeah.
So it did change. It did change. And it is changing.
So as you told that wheel is in motion, people are getting to know about it. It's just that we should act as a catalyst and get to educate people more. Because the other day when I was just before the interview, I just wanted to do a little bit of research, and I went online and I searched about the hate that the LGBT community is receiving, and I was amazed. It's not amazed. I was actually disgusted. I understand there are conversion camps. I understand there are conversion camps done by religious institutions. I understand there is specific counseling session to make a person not gay. I understand that there is marriage, forced marriage happening, where the parents feel that after my boy gets married or my girl gets married, they'll be fine. So even though the rule came into being in 2018, I still think that the government or the people should take a lot of effort into educating people that this is not a deviation, this is not a disease. It's normal to be so.
Yeah, for sure. And regarding this sham counseling sessions and gay conversion therapy camps and the religious people there, what they are trying to take advantage is people's like not like having unaware of these things, as well
I think
as their
that
lack of
it's a
knowledge,
business where they are cashing in on the insecurities.
yes, insecurities and lack of awareness and knowledge.
Correct.
So that is what programs like this, like the conversations like these, as well as some effort that needs to be done by NGOs and other organizations, even governmental organizations, the medical system, those systems should work holistically to provide those education so that people don't lose their life, money, their life savings, and their entire family over these sham conversion therapy camps and counseling sessions and I don't know, like eat a fish and you become ungay yourself. I don't know what kind of magic people do. So it doesn't work and it's not going to change who you are. And the people who are talking about marriage, like forced marriage, I just want them to think one thing. You know you are gay. You know what your sexual orientation is. You know what your brothers or sisters or your son's sexual orientation is. He or she is an LGBT community. And even if you still believe that, that is going to change when you get married. You are not just destroying your own son or your own cousins or your relatives' life. You're bringing in an entire new, like an innocent person into this whole, pardon my language, shit show, and destroying that person. And directly and indirectly, you are also causing pain and damage to that family too. So why would you want to do that? And why would you, like, if a person like me who's questioning their sexuality, and if they're thinking, oh yeah, I could get married, first discover who you are, understand who you are, then make a decision. Because it's not something that pertaining to you, it involves somebody else. And that's what I always say. As long as you live your life without hurting anybody else, their life, that's good. That's how you should be.
So
So
do you think that this is an education, like the first point that we always mentioned here, being aware,
yeah,
knowing that this is fine, this is okay to feel so. Do you think this should be included in the curriculum for a school going student? Like I'm pretty sure you and me growing up, or anyone watching this show, I'm pretty sure the chapter 10 of biology in your 10th standard, reproductive systems,
organs. Yeah,
organs, that is a chapter that is never taught. Teacher will be like, okay, you go read it and come. If there is any doubt, you come to me. And no one goes. Right. That's the
Yeah.
first thing that has to be changed. But I think what I feel personally is that there should be sessions when you are in school for the teachers. I mean, yeah, initially for the teachers and then for the students and for the parents, saying that it's fine now because it's a rule now and it's
Mhm.
decriminalized and we have all accepted it. Don't you think it is required a counseling session when you are in school itself to accept who you are? Don't you think that will
I
help?
think definitely it would. But taking a step forward, like more step forward, I would say one important thing, like India, it's an amazing country. The education that we receive in India, it's great. One thing that we are lacking is sex education. I think it should be mandatory for everybody, even when you're a child, talking about your body parts, what could be touched, what is consent, teaching about consent to both men, women, every individual. Like, look at the cases, like the rape cases that we are having, the harassment that everybody, men and women and kids, children who go to school, has to face on the buses, the public transit system that they have to face. They have to learn, people need to be taught about consent, about respecting others' personal space, about sexual orientation, about sex, safe sex, um, about everything, how to use a condom, how to protect yourself from STIs, how to get treatment, where to go, how to do it. So people need to be taught, and this is educating everyone. Parents, teachers should be educated, parents should be educated, guidance counselors should be educated, students should be educated, and it should start from, I think there is no age, even to a 3-year old, parents should tell them, and it should start from everybody's home. Like when you have a child, or our friends who has child, they should talk to their kids saying that, you know, if somebody touches you, like, these are the know your body parts, and if somebody touches you there, and if you don't feel safe, tell to your parents that I didn't feel safe, this person did this to me. It should be stopped. People had to be held accountable,
I
and
think
it's
there
a
are a few
change that needs to
schools that are doing that now, teaching the small
be.
kids what a bad touch is and what a good touch is, differentiating between
Perfect.
those. So I think that
Yeah.
is in motion. That is
Yeah,
about to
that's
happen.
a change in a really good directions. And again, then we can have this discussion about sexual identities, sexual orientations, sexualities, so that
But
there is a discussion that is going on.
before that, what I thought is that we Indians are a confused lot of people, right? We are a collectively confused lot of people. In the sense, what I feel is that till you're at the age where you're getting married, sex is considered taboo, right?
Hmm.
No one speaks about sex. If you are doing, if you are indulging in that, it is supposed to be something wrong. You're not supposed to, right? And
Yeah.
once you get married, and if it is an arranged marriage in India, then in your first night of marriage, you are supposed to have sex with an unknown person, where for the last 25 to 27 years, it was considered taboo and it is wrong. And then all of a sudden, a window is open. It's like, yeah, go have sex now. And the highlight is that how Indian society works, or how things work in Kerala, is that from the second month onwards, they ask you, when are you getting pregnant?
Yeah.
Right? And then they're pressurizing you to have sex. So you get married and you're supposed to get pregnant after a month or
Yeah.
so, right? The concept of having fun while having sex is never taught.
Hmm.
Sex is just a
I think
means
it's
of
about,
anyone to get pregnant in India.
I know. And even I have to, maybe it's the Indian in me that even in my own personal life, I had to face that. And where sex, there was a point in time where, for me, sex is just the act of sex. There was no pleasure involved in it. There was no mutual pleasure that was there. It took me a while to realize there's much more than to it rather than having sex. And I wish I had taught that. I wish I had, not even teaching. I wish I had an opportunity to have a discussion with somebody who was a professional, like a psychiatrist or psychologist, who we can talk about and talk about human feelings and human touch and human emotions, where I can share and be a partner, a better partner to my partner, to our partner, whoever I'm with, rather than being this going on with this societal norms or expectations where get married, get a job, finish school, get a job, get married, and within a year have a child. Nobody even asking whether the newlywed couple probably they want to take 3 or 4 years getting to know each other, to have a
No,
life together.
they're
To
pressurized into having kids. It's not a
yeah,
decision like how it happened back in India. Getting married, you're getting pressurized. Having a kid, you're getting pressurized. Having the second kid, you're getting pressurized. Making that kid into a doctor or an engineer, you're getting pressurized by the
I
society.
know.
Entire India works on pressure, and it's peer pressure.
I know it's tough. It's not only tough on the parents; it's also tough on the kids.
It's not fair on
So
the kids.
no, it's not at all.
It's
They are
not fair
not
on the
allowed
kids.
to choose what they want to do.
Correct.
Uh, yeah, it's sad. But being said that, I do have some friends from India who chose to go back to India and live there, have a life there. They have a they kind of bring this outlook where, like we discussed, the idealistic dream that we both have, where everybody has a say and everybody live with acceptance, respect, and love for each other, for a fellow human being, care for a fellow human being. They have that ideology and they are putting it into practice, and it is beautiful to see, whether it is with their kids or with their friends or family members.
Congratulations on getting married. I understand it was
Yeah,
year 2013 when you took the step.
yeah. Congratulations to you too.
Yeah, thank you very
Oh,
much.
your parents.
Yes, yes. But it's been just 1 year for me. But for you, it's almost 7 years now.
When are you having kids? Just kidding.
That scared me, bro. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, 7 years you're into marriage, right? Happily married couple.
Yeah.
You are an example for many others on knowing that you can still lead a normal life as per the society.
Mhm.
You can get married. You have a partner whom can be with. You can start a family together.
Mhm.
So you are an example. You are the right example for many people who would want to come outside, right? You are a happily married person. You are a very successful person, and you are an extremely confident person now. So, is there
Thank you.
something that you want to tell others who are scared to come outside or who are confused? Is there a message that you want to convey?
My only message to them is I would always be realistic. It is going to be tough. It is hard. It is scary. It might look scary. It might look tough. It might look um, difficult. But once you've done it, once you cross that path, once you cross that bridge, it is the best thing that you probably ever have done in your life. But just with this action, you know who your real friends are. You know who your real family is. You know who are going to be with you no matter who you are. And those are the people that is the most valuable people in your life. So you realize those things, which in turn gives you this confidence, your ability to make and have a better life. And you're not lying anymore. You're true to yourself. And that itself will bring the happiness in your life and you can see the difference. But I understand, and I'm not saying it's easy. I didn't have an easy come out. I had to deal with my emotions. I had to understand or try to understand my parents' emotions, their growth curve, their fear, my fears. But at the end of the day, would I like? Do I like? I don't regret anything that I've done, and yeah,
And what about a message for the parents? Because they are also a part of this journey, and them understanding would make it easier for the person to come outside.
yeah, it's true. For parents, I would say love your child no matter what. And the only thing that you could do is to educate yourself. Make that effort, because you think your child, like, it's hard for you, and you must realize that how much painful it is for the child to see you in pain. They love you, they understand that you love them, they understand, and they all go through this emotions of guilt, fear of whether I'm a disappointment or not. So they go through all these emotions, and during all this time, all they need is support and love. And if parents could do that, no matter what, that's the you will be a successful parent. That's what a parent should do. And I got it from my parents. Uh, at the Not always. I'm not saying it was easy. Not always, but like I said, at the end of the day, we have this crazy arguments. Like, you know how Indian parents are. We have this emotional drama stuff. But at the end of the day, I still every day I remember what my mother and my father told me. At the end of the day, you're our son, you're our child, and we love you. And no matter what happened to you, we are here for you.
Last but not the least, what about a message to all the bullies that is there, all the homophobic people who comes and makes life hard for the LGBT community? Is there something that you want to tell to them? I would definitely would just want to show them the middle finger, but I think you would be able to give a better message to them.
For me, it's like life is difficult for everybody, whether you are straight, you're gay, you're lesbian, you're transsexual, you're transgender or bisexual. Life is difficult for everybody as it is. Why do you have to make life difficult for somebody else? Like, why do you have to, like, we have enough hate and fight and wars and drama going around this planet. We don't need any more of that.
Why do we
So to
complicate
me,
our life even more?
yeah. So to anybody who's out there who find this full pleasure, this fake pleasure in making somebody else's life miserable, just go back and think why you do it, what makes you do it, and fix it. That's all I can say.
You would want them to go for counseling. You would want them to be sent to conversion camps from a bully to become
For
a good
sure,
person.
for sure. From a hating person to a more loving and kind, compassionate person.
That will be
Yes.
the ideal world that we would want to live in. Anyways, thanks, man. Thank you for letting us do this. Coming and speaking about this is a big thing. I'm hoping that this video will be a motivation. This video will be an educational tool for the parents and for the people who are struggling, to find themselves, to understand that normalcy and how what they are. So thank you for doing this. It's been wonderful speaking to you. I hope I can get you on another episode some other day on a different topic where we can discuss more. Thank you very much. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you for giving me the opportunity. And I'm always happy to be there as a friend, as a cousin, as a
Yes.
um, anything. Like, I'm always there. And good luck with all your endeavors, future endeavors. And I'm pretty sure the AAP is gonna be awesome.
Thank you. I also thought of another thing. I thought we'll set up a Gmail account and I will mention that at the end of this video and I'll mention it in the comments also. So if at all someone wants to speak to you,
Oh,
they'll
for
just write a
sure.
mail to that particular Gmail ID and then you can respond back to it in the mail.
Yeah,
Is
for
that
sure.
okay with you?
Oh yeah, and if somebody reaches out to you and have this, if they need any guidance or for resources or anything, whether it is a person from the LGBTQ community or if it is a parent or anybody, you can connect me to them, and I'm more than happy to help them. Uh, because it is important to have this conversation so that we can protect our kids, protect everybody from people who take advantage of them because of their insecurities and vulnerabilities. It is
And to
very
all the
important.
viewers, he's already committed. Don't hit on him. He's married. Don't send mail saying that I love him, I want to meet you and all. That's not possible.
For more informative and exciting talks and chat shows like this, like, share, and subscribe to Aam Aadmi Podcast. The link is down there. And support Kevin and everybody who's coming onto the show from different facets of our life. Thank you, Kevin, for this opportunity.
Thank you very
Have a
much.
good
I did
day.
not make him say that. Hello. Thank you, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Bye bye.